What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dog Waters. I need y'all to hit the like button. Y'all see my little homie down here hustling, trying to get y'all to hit the like button. Stop acting funny with my little homie. You see him over here dancing a jig, trying to get y'all to hit the button, man. Don't do him like that. I'm warning you, he a shooter, man. He look all nice, but he a shooter, man. Hit the button, man, and let's go.
Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only James Williams, Dog Waters is back. And, man, let me say this to you, ladies and gentlemen, so you'll understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. We got some wild stuff popping off. Now, I'm gonna start by saying this. I want that background to be white but black, but anyway. I'm gonna start by saying this. The auto pen scandal that's taken over the media right now is probably more significant than anything you've ever seen. And I'll tell you why. The We wondered why they came out and said that Joe Biden had cancer. And the Joe Biden cancer diagnosis made no sense. Remember, we was like, man, this don't make no sense. Everybody knows Joe Biden was old and frail and all the rest of this. But we get this where Joe Biden comes out and they announce that Joe Biden has cancer. And we say to ourselves, well, damn, everybody knew something was wrong with the man. We could tell something was wrong with Joe. Everybody could tell something was wrong with Joe. But it comes out, they announce that he has cancer. And I want you guys to harken back to the video where he was on the campaign trail campaigning for Kamala, and he put on the Donald Trump hat. And you notice periodically throughout the Kamala Harris campaign, Joe continuously sabotaged Kamala. And I remember doing videos like, man, I feel like Joe doing this on purpose. Because every time she gets some momentum, here come Joe. He come out and say some crazy stuff. He'll come out and say something else crazy. He came out and put on the hat. And when he put on the hat that day, he didn't seem like nobody who had dementia. He was holding conversation, cracking jokes with people. Joe seemed normal when he had that conversation. Now it's starting to make sense. This is why some of these stories, you got to leave them alone till more the pieces of the puzzle come out. Now it's starting to make all the sense in the world. You see, the main issue that we have right now is the appointments of Joe Biden, who are taking roles and doing things in blatant warfare. And those people tend to be these judges, right? We have this whole area where we went into the various different judges that have been issues, whether it be the judge in Travis County who let the guy out on bond, or whether it be the judge who blocked the border patrol from arresting suspects without a warrant, or the judge defended illegal alien human smuggled stash house, or the judge who said you couldn't detain illegal aliens, or the judge who said you couldn't invoke the State Secret Act, or this judge who's an Obama-appointed judge, a Biden-appointed judge that wanted to get the plane to come back when it was taken off. What circumvents all of these issues of warfare? The one thing that circumvents all of it is the auto pen. If you can prove that every appointment that Joe Biden made is a problem because he wasn't cognizant, he wasn't aware of what he was doing, and that there were other people in control of the auto pen, then that makes all of that go away. Now, I've said over and over and over again, the danger of this is that once you open that can of worms, there's a lot of worms inside that can. So now you get into all his executive orders, you get into all the deals that he did with foreign nations. And if you believe that everything Joe Biden did was against the best interests of America, then it's probably good to undo all those things. The problem that you run into is that's a lot of stuff to undo. So every executive order, and I said this in a video, every executive order that he's done or that Joe Biden did that affected someone like a farmer, that person now has the right to sue. It gets worse than that. The executive orders that brought in foreigners to the nation, like from Cuba, from Venezuela, from Nicaragua, and Haiti, it'll give them people a right to sue America. They can say, well, no, I'm suing America because he lied to me. So when we start to unravel this damn big ball of yarn, it can get kind of deadly. But I personally believe we're gonna have to unravel it. So let's just go through this real quick. So we got auto pen. We know that there's been auto pen, and so here we go. Dave Hogg comes out, and David Hogg says in an undercover video, probably Project Veritas. Of course, it's Project Veritas who got him. David Hogg comes out and says that that Jill Biden's chief of staff ran the Biden's White House. Now, the word was that the chief of staff was Hunter Biden, but here we go. We get into auto pen.
Yes,
nice to meet you. Yeah.
Off the record, of course.
Foundational question for me is like, how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden, well, the president of the United States?
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was like the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Like Joe Biden's chief of staff, like had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was like an open secret at the level. Like I would avoid him. Like he was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's like a shadowy, like Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so like. I knew how he looked, but I'm like the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had at the White House.
That crap is going to get copywritten. I'm going to have to go ahead and remove that audio. But the point I'm making is when we start walking down this road of the auto pen, it gets real spooky ooky. It gets spooky because remember, Comer came out and said he identified 5 people who, and he was subpoenaing 5 people who were using the auto pen. We went through this.
Congressman James Comer joins me now. All right, Congressman, who are you going to subpoena first?
Well, we're going to request that 4 staffers that we've identified as the main gatekeepers for the Biden White House, that they come and answer our questions. We're also requesting that Dr. O'Connor come. That's the first step towards a subpoena.
Well,
if they
tell me
refuse
first
to
who
come
these
in
4 people
voluntarily,
are. Who are the 4?
Well, there are no names that anyone that normally watches Fox would know. They're behind the scenes. They fly under the radar. These are the unelected bureaucrats that we believe had an overwhelming influence over Joe Biden and could have possibly been serving as de facto presidents of the United States. The first step to issue a successful subpoena is to offer someone an invitation, a sincere request to come in and answer questions. If they do not, the next step will be the subpoenas. I agree with everything that the last person said about subpoenas, except the special counsel. I think that we can do that in Congress. We're going to bring these people in for depositions and transcribed interviews, and we're going to ask every question that a good journalist like yourself, Jesse, would ask. The American people want to know this. Momentum's on our side. New evidence has emerged just in the last few days, and I think that all eyes will be watching this new investigation by the House Oversight
So
Committee.
you don't want to say the names, and that's fine. Maybe you don't want to tip any.
Nah. We're following the breadcrumbs that are there for us. So we know this was a couple of days ago he came out and said that, right? Then Donald Trump came out, and Donald started unleashing. He really did. He just started unleashing on the auto pen issue. And all this is because of the fact that when it really boils down to it, we're in a situation where we have enemies inside of our government who've been appointed by a committee of different people. Watch this. Remember, President Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, says Elizabeth Warren was behind Biden regime anti-crypto agenda controlled by AutoPen. Remember, I want you to recall, when we were dealing with the USAID stuff and Elon Musk going off about USAID and Doge, do you recall how wild and crazy Elizabeth Warren was? I mean, Elizabeth Warren was like a stark, raving, mad lunatic when they were all out there talking about it. It's blah, 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 blah. She was going crazy. It makes sense now why certain people were crazy. Remember, they had the military contractor who was standing outside the door of the Department of Education in one of those departments, and they all surrounded him. And it was like, yeah, you're not going to let us in this building. And they're all ranting and raving. It's because they knew all of those people had colluded together to use the auto pen, and they needed to try and cover up what they did. This is going to take everybody down. And I know everyone wants to see arrests, but there's multiple roads at this point in time that lead to arrest. I kind of get what's going on at this point. You see, everybody thought the only road to arresting these people was the Epstein road, right? Well, quite frankly, if we being honest, the Epstein road don't really exist. Let's just keep it real. It don't exist at this point in time. Epstein is dead. There's no records of how he committed himself. They deleted everything. The files is the files. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like they're going to release the files to you so you can look at a whole bunch of kiddie porn. So Epstein is just one. It's like a 15-lane highway. Epstein is one lane of the highway. The auto pen is another lane of the highway, right? And there's various different lanes of this highway that we're starting to see. USAID and Doge are making cuts in the data that they took is another lane of the highway. This corruption is so pervasive, so big, so deep, so strong, ladies and gentlemen, that we got them. It's just a matter of which road, which vehicle and which lane of the highway is going to get to the destination first. But we got them.
This is the financial system of the future, Jesse, and we have to encourage it. What the Biden administration was doing, and let's face it, it wasn't Biden. Elizabeth Warren controlled the auto pen during that administration. She, for some reason, has this pathological hatred of the crypto community. She wants to drive this community offshore. She doesn't want it happening in the United States. That's the wrong policy for the United States. We want all the innovation happening here. This is a financial system of the future. It's cheaper, it's more efficient. We want it happening here, Jesse, and I think people are thrilled that President Trump is making that possible.
Now, I'm going to tell you what I don't respect about none of these people. This is what I don't respect about none of the Republicans sitting in Congress. I want you to understand. The majority of you, I disrespect you. Yeah. I disrespect you, rhinos. And I disrespect you, MAGA Republicans who's sitting in Congress. If people know, if Democrats knew that auto pen was being used, that word had leaked to all y'all. To all of y'all. To all of y'all. Hey. And none of you cowards said a damn thing. The whole time, somebody could have been whistleblowing. Think about it. Rand Paul. I don't like the cuts. Rand Paul running his mouth. Rand Paul, why you didn't tell us they was using a damn auto pen? I bet you knew. You had to know. Yeah, you got to know. But then they run out there and be like, yeah, I'm a big Republican congressman and senator and blah, blah, blah. You a big coward. You a big dummy. Like Fred Sanford said, you big dummy. That's what y'all are. You should have been out there saying something about it when it was going on. You want to know why you didn't say nothing? Because you a coward. You want to know why you a coward? Because you figure anybody can write anything and they can get your head rocked off your shoulders. You notice they real quiet. You don't hear no Republican senators talking about the auto pen. Yeah. Everybody real quiet. You don't hear no congressman talk. Everybody too damn quiet for James Williams. Because they see it. You think James Williams boo-boo the foo-foo. Comer, the only one that came out and said nothing. Something. And then I don't even trust Comer. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust Comer. Watch this. Then we get deeper. Possible crimes committed by Biden staffers using auto pen without presidential awareness outlined. A question swirls around Joe Biden's cognitive state in the absentee leadership. New scrutiny is falling on the use of the presidential auto pen by Biden staffers, an automated signature device that has been used to sign executive orders and potentially even pardons. I want to make sure that's on the screen for you. The staffers, if these reports are accurate, could have engaged in multiple ongoing felonies. House Oversight Chair Jim Comer, Republican from Kentucky, has said legislative subpoenas are being sent out, which we know that. Who was running American government anyway under Sleepy Joe? Biden's issued wide-ranging pardons his last week, including controversial ones. His controversial one for his son Hunter, despite promising previously that he would not pardon Hunter. Here's what relevant federal laws say. If anyone in executive office signed legal documents such as pardons, executive orders, diplomatic communications without the president's full and current awareness, they would likely violate multiple federal laws. The first law is forgery of United States document, 20 years in prison. The second one is impersonation of a federal officer, 3 years in prison. The next one is false statements, 5 to 8 years per count. Damn. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. If multiple officials coordinate in such actions, even internally, it may be persecutable as a conspiracy. Obstruction of justice, wire or mail fraud. So, this is a dragnet, ladies and gentlemen. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. If 2 or more persons conspires either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States or, that's why the media lost their mind. This is why the media, ladies and gentlemen, turned on the Democrats. This is why. This statement, this law right here is the reason why the media turned on a dime. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. If 2 or more persons conspire either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States, and 1 or more such persons do any act to affect the object of the conspiracy. This right here, 18 U.S.C. 371, conspiracy to defraud the United States of America, is why that boy wrote that damn book. The dude who wrote the book about Joe Biden, and this is why they did it, and this is why they telling people like The View and everybody else to stop talking about Donald Trump. This is the trap. This is the trap. They in the trap. Will they get out the trap? I don't know that, but this is the trap. This is the trap. This is a dragnet, ladies and gentlemen. This could involve personal liability for several key Biden staffers who were in positions of power and trust with the United States White House. White House legal counsel Dana Remus, Stuart DeLeary, Ed Siskel, who likely provided approval, even informal, to the president's staff as they wielded Biden's tremendous power. White House Chief of Staff Ron Kalin, Jeff Zients, White House Communications Director Katie Bendefield, Ben LaBotte, who has orchestrated the cover-up from the public, cabinet secretaries, and Congress. No. Them people ain't do that on their own. They couldn't get away with that on their own. Anybody who went to go meet Joe Biden, and when you were asked about Joe Biden's mental state, and they had a private meeting with Joe, and said, oh no, Joe's the same Joe I've always known him to be. Joe's just Kamala. Joe's great. Anybody who contributed to this facade of Joe being who he is, being in perfect good shape, Joe being the best version of Joe Biden there is, anybody who defended this lie is a part of the conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they're part of the damn conspiracy. Now the auto pen map has lit up. I told you, sometimes, baby, you got to sit back and you got to relax. We need to make a notation of this. We need to make a notation while y'all with me before I forget. Auto pen. Need this to be big. We're going to make this like 500. Auto pen. Let's make it 800. Let's just make it auto pen crimes. Yeah, we're gonna make it the auto pen crimes. Yes, sir. The auto pen crimes. Auto pen crimes. We got them on crime. The auto pen crimes. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going nowhere. When I tell you this is going nowhere, this is going to be around for a long time. We're going to be talking about this auto pen. I don't mean like nobody's going to get in trouble. This right here going to cause problems because this right here leads to where the money went. You know how they say follow the money? Follow the money, dummy. Yeah, this is when you follow the money. Yeah, where my GIF at? Where my GIFs? Yeah, give me an emoji or a GIF. Yeah, give me a GIF. Give me a follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Give me somebody talking about follow the money. No. What's she saying? She saying follow the money? You should be saying it. Yeah, Pam. Tell them follow the money, Pam. Follow the money. Now, watch this. You see this girl right here? I guarantee you money went to that girl right there. Guarantee you. Letitia James, is she on the screen? Tisha! I guarantee you money went to Tisha. Now you start mapping out who came out in defense. Yeah, you start mapping them out who came out in defense of this foolishness. Money, 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 money. Oh, that person's up for that person, this person. All I'm in trouble. Every last one of them is in trouble. Yeah, boy. That boy right there, David Hogg, he just admitted that he knew about the conspiracy. He admitted during the video that he knew. Yeah, he admitted during the video that he knew about the conspiracy. David Hogg admitted himself he knew. Yeah, for all of y'all, yay, yay, yay. All right, that's enough. I got other stuff.